In a world where stories are the essence of life, what if you could be part of creating the next great tale? Introducing Storybook, a community where your imagination comes to life. A place where writers, readers, and dreamers unite to create something extraordinary. With Storybook, your ideas, your stories, and your characters are more than just thoughts. They become part of a larger narrative. Less than 1 billion Storybook tokens are powered by the Ton blockchain. By holding book tokens, you gain the power to pitch ideas, give input, and even become a character in the stories you help create. Submit your stories, collaborate with other talented writers, and see your work come to life. Storybook isn't just about storytelling. It's about making your mark in a community that values creativity and innovation. From anthologies to graphic novels, from films to community-driven magazines, Storybook is where your ideas take flight and where your voice is heard. Become part of a movement where your creativity shapes the future of storytelling. Welcome to Storybook, a community where stories come to life.
This is Storybook Radio.
Chapter 29. Valerie's gaze locks onto the wall behind Phoenix, her eyes wide and unblinking. Her mind churns with unspoken thoughts, each one more frantic than the last. The dull hum of the clock on the wall feels deafening in the suffocating silence of the room. She presses her lips together, trying to suppress the rising tide of panic, but her trembling hands betray her. Every breath feels heavier as the gravity of their situation presses down on her chest like a weight she cannot lift. Paragon moves toward the door with unhurried grace, his demeanor calm yet cloaked in enigma. His hand brushes against the doorknob, and he pauses briefly, glancing back at Phoenix and Valerie. The faint flicker of a smirk dances on his lips, as if he's enjoying their discomfort. "Where are you going?" Phoenix's voice cuts through the tension like a blade. He steps forward, his posture rigid. "What is this place, really? And why do you know so much about it?" Paragon turns slowly, his expression unreadable. He chuckles softly, the sound low and sardonic. "What gave it away?" he says, gesturing vaguely at the room. "The lack of beds? The unnerving silence? This isn't exactly a 5-star retreat. It's a lifeboat, Phoenix, temporary, fragile, and it's not meant to be comfortable." Phoenix's hands clench into fists at his sides. His frustration boils over, and his voice rises. "You think this is funny? You've been playing games with us since the start. You brought us here, knowing it would only make things worse. Who are you really working for?" Paragon raises his hands in mock surrender, his smirk widening. "My sincerest apologies for saving your lives," he says, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Next time, I'll let the thought enforcer handle you." He turns back to the door, his tone losing its edge. "The answers you want aren't here. They never were." With that, he steps out, the door closing softly behind him, leaving Phoenix and Valerie alone. The room's oppressive silence returns, heavier than before. Valerie sinks into a chair, her hands gripping the edge of the table. Her head drops forward, and a quiet, stuttering breath escapes her lips. "Phoenix," she whispers, her voice trembling. I can't keep this in anymore." Phoenix's expression softens, his anger giving way to concern. He sits across from her, leaning forward. "Valerie, what are you talking about?" Tears well up in her eyes, spilling over as her words tumble out in a rush. "The accident, the one that killed your wife." Her voice cracks, and she clutches her chest, as if the weight of her confession is physically crushing her. "It was me. I was driving. I wasn't paying attention, and it happened so fast. I've been living with this guilt, and I thought I could bury it, but I can't. Not anymore." Phoenix's breath catches, and for a moment, he says nothing. The words hang in the air, sharp and cutting. His mind races, the memories of his wife's death colliding with the revelation before him. Anger, grief, and confusion churn within him, each emotion battling for dominance. He closes his eyes, taking a long, shuddering breath. "Valerie," he says, his voice lower than before. He reaches across the table, his hand covering hers. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" She shakes her head, tears streaming down her face. "I was scared. I thought you'd hate me, and I hated myself enough for both of us." Phoenix's grip on her hand tightens. "I don't hate you," he says, his voice firm. But you've been carrying this alone for too long. I don't know how to process this yet, but we'll get through it. Together. Valerie looks up at him, her tear-streaked face filled with a fragile hope. Do you mean that? He nods. I do. Beyond the break room's fragile sanctuary, the omniscience world seethes with activity. The thought enforcer remains stationed under the overpass, his weapon glowing faintly in the dim light. The air vibrates with tension as Paragon approaches, his footsteps clashing with the ground. The enforcer's head tilts slightly, acknowledging Paragon's presence. The glow of his staff dims as he lowers the weapon, though his posture remains rigid. They haven't emerged, the enforcer states, his voice a mechanical monotone. Paragon's expression remains neutral. They will. Be patient. He steps closer, his eyes scanning the door as if he can see through it. When they do, you know what to do. The enforcer's head inclines in a slight nod. Understood. Paragon lingers for a moment, his gaze distant. Then, without another word, he turns and walks away, his figure fading into the shadows. The enforcer resumes his vigil, the tension in the air thickening with every passing second. Inside the break room, the clock's ticking grows louder, each second a reminder of the choices that must be made. Phoenix and Valerie sit in silence, their emotions raw but shared. The walls seem to close in, the room's temporary refuge offering little comfort. They know the moment of truth is near, and the weight of what awaits beyond the door looms heavy over them both.